We've had a night to sleep on it. The Dodgers are still World Series champions. I'm wearing the right hat. Yeah, it's 2020. Yeah, that was a long time ago. 2025. Feels like it was last night. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm doing. It's the perfect ending to a great story that was the 2025 regular season. We're going to talk about it here. I got some thoughts. People have some thoughts in the voicemail hotline. What a game. What a series. What a year for our Dodgers. Let's get into it on All Dodgers. Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast. Two-time World Series champion podcast, by the way. What's going on, party people? My name is Clint Pasillas. Find me as Real FRG on the social media machines. If the screen looks weird, it's because I changed some things, but we'll lock it in. All Dodgers is presented by FanDuel, part of the Bleav Network of podcasts. Obviously, I'm here. It's just going to be us today. Had a lot of content last night. Your boy is burnt out, but you still got the juices going from this game, from this series, my sweet word. Great for baseball, great for us, because after, if the Dodgers lose, and I think I said this in some way, shape, or form last night, if the Dodgers lose in Game 6, I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Hats off to the Toronto Blue Jays, great baseball team, still a great baseball team, even though, you lost. But the Dodgers were not playing a better brand of baseball for the majority of the series. All the post-game shows were telling the Dodgers last night, listen, the Toronto Blue Jays, they had command of this game. They had the momentum for the entirety of this baseball game, except for when it counted at the end, after 27 outs plus, 6 more outs? Hashtag math, baby. It was a fun game. It was a painful game. So many times your heart just hurts watching that game. The anxiety, the fact that we're gonna lose. There's no way this team's gonna lose, man. Like, Dodgers fans, we only know suffering despite all of the joy and quality, great baseball teams that we've seen over the last, decade plus. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me in the chat. Sound off. By the way, I'm going to be doing voicemails today. Get your voicemails in if you have not. We got a good slate of them already stacked up at 562-373-4095. I will be trying to pay attention as the show is going. It's just me here, so it is more difficult to check them and add them and all that kind of stuff, but we'll do our best to make it work. Also, like the channel, like the show, subscribe to the channel. That really does help us out. But as I said at the top there, woke up, still champs. You feel good. I kind of had a little bit of a monologue. I was thinking it in my head, so I started typing it out so I at least have some bullet points and talking points for myself. But you guys know, you've been watching me all year. If you've watched me for years, I talk about the story. You're telling a story. We're watching a story unfold over the course of 162. Before that, in through spring training, that's part of the story. That's the preface to the story. Into the postseason, this is where things get big. Things get real good and juicy for the people reading this book, reading this novel. It's a perfect ending to this story. Ups and downs, strife, worry, concern, our heroes down, out, injured, away from the team, like Alex Vesia. Can they win for King Kersh? Can they win for us? The perfect ending to the story. Too many heroes to thank in that game, in the series, really. But really, I want to focus more on that Game 7, the absurdity, the absolute absurdity of that Miguel Rojas home run. Shades of Rajai Davis, of course, from that 2016 World Series between Cleveland and Chicago. The difference was Rajai Davis's homer just tied it. That team did not go on to win it. The Indians did not go on to beat the Cubs, a team of destiny. So you feel better about Miggy Rose homer because it came in an actual win. But going back, I want to talk about Will Smith, obviously, the heroics of Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Going back, let's talk about Max Muncy, unsung hero in that game, because I mentioned you chip away. I mentioned it last night on Dodgers territory. You saw the team chip away. They keep chipping away. You know, the 3-run deficit that Shohei Ohtani put us in, and hats off to Shohei for going out there on 3 days rest for the first time in his life. Definitely the first time as a professional, absolutely the first time as a Dodger. Given the team what he had, should he have gone out for the 3rd inning? Yeah, he should have, because he was the best option they had at that time. That inning just built really quick, and then Bo Bichette go bye-bye, down 3-0, but the Dodgers chip away. Teoscar Hernandez, battling, chipping away, persevering, down 3, chance to get a bunch back. Teo tried to keep it short, tried to keep it sweet, tried to find some grass like I've been asking for the last 3 or 5 days. But Dalton Varsho, an absolute madman in center field. We only score 1 in that inning. Another opportunity, the 6th inning, only able to score 1. Tommy Edman drives in the run with, I believe, also the sac fly. The Jays get that run right back. You're like, dang, here we are, 4-2. I was losing hope. You're resigned to the fact that we're crawling to a slow loss. You've seen those kind of games where it's just like, all right, well, the inevitable is right there. I kept telling myself, though, I kept trying to encourage myself as I was here alone in my, I'm not going to call it a man cave, but here in the studio here in beautiful La Puente, California. Man, I think I have to legally say that. Or legally man when I say La Puente, California. There it is. You thought it was done, but I kept trying to convince myself there's still time. There are still outs. We still have outs to play with. Then Max Muncy, underrated in this series, connects for a solo shot in the 8th inning. And I said it in the Discord. I put the meme, the image from Endgame, Avengers Endgame, Clint Barton with the "Don't give me hope, don't give me hope." That's what I was feeling. You think it can't be right? It can't be right. Like, don't give me hope. Like, it can't be. They're not going to try to come back in this game. You flash forward. It's 9th inning. My producer on Dodgers territory, Mark Wiener, he tells me, I don't know, this Jeff Hoffman dude, he gives up some homers. He's a Yankees fan. He sees a lot of AL East ball games. He's seen some Jeff Hoffman in his life and in his career. He says Jeff Hoffman gives up homers. We get to Miguel Rojas, the most unlikely and the most deserving hero, honestly. Most deserving homer of his career, for sure. My sweet word. A line drive that had just enough to get over the wall. It was a screamer. Luckily, it had enough lift to it, enough of that launch angle to get into that bullpen. Tied 4-all. 9th inning. Insanity. Are we seeing this? And is this all just to be, it's insanity, elation, and then fear? Are we about to get walked off on? Are the Blue Jays going to beat us in the bottom of the 9th? Are they going to revisit a Joe Carter moment, as we saw way too many times in that series? Fox kept throwing to the Joe Carter. Thank you, fans. That's what I was feeling in that moment. It felt like it was going to be a thank you, fans moment, and, they got our hopes up, and they didn't just get our hopes up. That's the important part. We know the ending, but still just walking through it. Bottom of the 9th, Jays load the base, 1 out. Thank you, fans there. Again, right? Infield draws in. Yamamoto had already come in. He hits Kirk to load the bases, gets that grounder to the right side. And our hero, the hero that got us here, Miguel Rojas, makes the stop, loses his balance, gathers enough to make a strong throw to Will Smith. Will's able to get his foot down, thank God. Isaiah Kiner Falefa forgot how to play baseball in that moment, forgot to get a secondary lead, is not safe. Jays aren't World Series heroes. Miguel Rojas further injures himself in the process, later reveals that he had hurt himself celebrating that walk-off, not really walk-off, but that double play to end Game 6 and send the Dodgers to Game 7. But there are 2 down. They're 2 down in that inning. Next batter, Ernie Clement, the postseason hit king. He comes up. There's 2 outs. You're thinking to yourself, this is it. This guy's going to get another one. He's going to be a hero. He's going to be the World Series MVP. They're going to be talking about this dude for decades to come. High fly ball, left center field. Kike Hernandez, Andy Pages, who was brought into the game a batter before. They converge on this fly ball. I'm looking there. I'm like, what the F is Kike Hernandez doing playing so shallow? Why is Kike so shallow? I ask myself that. But they both get to the ball. Andy Pajes stands tall, steamrolls Kike. I think I got an image of that, by the way, somewhere. Let's go ahead and try to find that. There it is. Steamrolls Kike. Get your ass out of my way. This is my baseball. Saves the season. Kike Hernandez said he got up. Andy Pajes asked him, are you okay? Are you okay? And Kike asked, did you get the ball? It's like, yeah. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. The ball was never going to not find Andy Pajes' glove. 4-4 ball game. Tied. Heading to extra innings. How fun. The Dodgers, of course, load the bases in the 10th inning. Have nothing to show for it. And you get your hopes up again. And then, yeah, that feeling. The feeling washes over you. We're about to get walked off on. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Yoshi said, hold my Sapporo. 1-2-3, bottom of the 10th. I think it was 1-2-3. Forgot to remember all of the points here. Game 7. The important part is Game 7 rolls on. We go to the 11th inning. Up steps William Dill Smith, the first. Swung on in a high fly ball to left field. She is gone. That's not the call, but that's the way I remember it. I freak out. I'm losing my crap here in the office. Worry sets in. It's only one run. It feels like we need 5 or 10 if we're going to have a chance to win this game. 8 or 90 if Clayton Kershaw is going to have a chance to come in and be that hero. Take that 1-run lead into the 11th. Bottom of the 11th. You know, we're going to win it here or we're going home. And we're going to be sad. At least there was a hard-fought game. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Here comes Kirk again, of course. It's always Alejandro Kirk. Yama had been good, but not great. Superb when you consider the fact that he was on less than 24 hours rest. Insane. Monster. What an absolute freak this dude is, by the way. Last 2 pitchers get World Series wins in Game 6 and Game 7. Shout out Pitching Ninja. That's right. It's the big unit, Randy Johnson. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Of course, Randy did not throw to Vlad Guerrero Jr., but that's neither here or there. So again, runners on the corners, 1 out. Here comes Kirk. Ground ball, chopper up the middle. Mookie's there. He steps on the bag, throws the first. Double play. Love that call. Love that call from Steven Nelson. From backs against the wall to back. Insane call from Nelly. How did that happen? That's what I was feeling in that moment. How did this happen? How did this team come back and win this baseball game? Baseball gods were on our side, my friends. That's the only thing that makes sense. There's divine intervention in that game because Dodgers had no business winning that World Series. And I'm grateful they did. It was just meant to be. The baseball gods said it was destiny. For Clayton Kershaw, for Dave Roberts, we got to talk more about Doc. For the dynasty, for Alex and Kayla Vesia, for all of us who made it through this season. You know, it is a grind as fans. It's a grind when you're a fan and you also have a podcast where you need to try to tell people, hey, you know, keep the momentum, keep the vibes alive. We will find a way. 9-time World Series champions. What a bleeping season for your Dodgers. Those were my thoughts. Those are all the thoughts I kind of just had running through my brain this morning about reliving that game because, again, they had no business, just zero business winning the game. Mario says, give us some credit. Yeah, you know what? I give the Dodgers credit for never quitting. They absolutely never quit on that baseball game. Huge shout out. And again, we got voicemails. If more people want to call in, 562-373-4095. Interested in seeing how people are feeling. Here we are, less than 24 hours removed from a World Series win. Tyler Glasnow goes out. I mean, the whole starting rotation ends up in this game. Yeah, you got to give a lot of love to Yoshinobu Yamamoto. What he did is absurd. I don't think we could ever really fully contextualize the fact that the guy just threw 95 pitches, 96 pitches, over 6 innings, days after he warmed up to potentially enter an 18-inning game, which was, 2 days after he threw a complete game in Toronto. The fact that he was able to come out after 96 pitches and throw 3 more innings, almost 3 more innings, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous there. But Tyler Glasnow. Justin Robleski. If we're talking about, giving us some credit, Robo starting some shit there with Jeff Snyder's favorite shortstop in the world, whatever his name is. I don't even need to remember his name right now. Something with letters. Tries to get hit, and then he raised his hand into the pitch, didn't get hit, and he gets hit in the next at bat, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Get your ass to first base, bitch. He's not trying to hit you there. Not with George Springer coming up behind him. Not with Nathan Lucas and Vlad Guerrero Jr. looming. NKV Ball 808 says Robo is our new Joe Kelly. What a dog. You know what? I saw also a lot in him there. There was a lot of him channeling some Alex Vesia in those outings. High key, low key, massive part of this World Series run was Justin Robleski stepping in and filling the role, not necessarily the exact role, the exact lane of hitters that Vess would have ended up taking down, but scoreless. Made 4 appearances in this series, 4 scoreless appearances for Justin Robleski. Tyler Glasnow comes in a day after saving the game in Game 6 on 3 pitches. You guys know my relationship. By the way, Dave reminds me. Yeah, it's wrong button, but reminds me it's Jimenez. We don't need to remember that. Tyler Glasnow comes in and gives the team what he had. Of course, it turns out he had some sort of injury. I know, shocker, heading out of that Game 6. But you saw some dog in Tyler Glasnow. It wasn't something where he was like, "Ow, my side hurts, I can't pitch." He actually sacked up. He manned up. I am proud of Tyler Glasnow, and I'm proud of him to shut me up and my consistent enough calling out of him, I guess we'll say. Praise the Glasnow. What a dude there. Blake Snell. You guys remember Blake Snell pitching that game too? It really feels like almost a passing thought that Snellzilla was in this ball game. That's an insane baseball game. I'm seeing Stephanie bring it up. The GOAT, Will Klein. You don't win this series without Will Klein pitching 4 scoreless innings in that Game 3 18-inning affair. My sweet word. Alex loves Robo's fight. He's a dog. There's a lot of different ways I can go with all of this. Obviously, I've kind of already finished my monologue of it. It's really cool. This is really cool. This is one of those things. Of course, the parade on Monday. I ain't going to be there. I hate people. I'm not going to a damn parade, but I will be home. I will be watching it. And then we'll have our love or reactions and thoughts to the parade after the fact. I'm very much hoping that Clayton Kershaw won't be wearing pants, not for creepy, perverted reasons, because more so because he hates wearing pants, Dave. Miguel Rojas, though, playing that game with an injury. Not enough said about Miggy Ro. I mean, there's been a lot said about Miggy Ro over these last two games. I know my boy D-Mac was at the stadium after that Game 5, caught the video of Miguel Rojas being the last guy in that dugout. And then Dave said, "You've got ball, man." Andy Pages couldn't hit in the series, so Dave finally decided to move a lever a little bit, get Miguel Rojas in this lineup, get Tommy Edman out to center field. Apparently, he could have played center field the whole time. Who knew? And it changed something. That changed something. Let's talk about Dave. That changed something, and Dave eating shit while racing Haesung Kim between that workout day between the series as the Dodgers got to Toronto. Freddie Freeman, we talked about it on the show. Freddie Freeman even very vocally said, you just won this for us, Dave. I forgot exactly what Freddie said, but he changed the vibe. Doc changed the vibes for the team because they were down bad. There was not a good feeling in that clubhouse. We talked about it on Dodgers territory. Some of those post game interviews. One of the things that Freddie had said was hopefully the flight kind of resets them a little bit, brings them back together. They were in it. Dodgers had no business once again winning this series, but they did. They 100% did. $2 from our friend Seth Klein. What's going on, Seth? We'll hear from him later on the Super Chat hotline. Not Super Chat. What do they call it? Voicemail hotline. Dodgers Dynasty. When we talk about the Dynasty, we can talk about Doc's Dynasty here. I think I have an image of that as well I was going to put up at some point if my computer wanted to work. Here we go. How about this? From that guy, Eric. He's been to a lot of World Series. A lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of down and out for Doc Roberts. A lot of learning on the job. 3-time World Series champion. He is, I think it was 7-2 now in winner-take-all games. Breaking, that's very good. That's very good. This is a Hall of Famer right now. That guy I had wine with at the start of towards the end of spring training. Alana and I asking him, what'd you do wrong in that World Series or in that postseason last year, and what went right, and all those kind of things. Dave, just an absolute I don't know if it's luck. I don't know if it's skill. Again, I don't know if it's concentrated power of will. Sorry, that's a really bad joke. I don't know if it is the baseball gods just finding a way to help this team, to will this team to winning something. But it was something special. I don't know. I'm clearly just going in circles here. Let's get to voicemails and we'll actually get some thoughts in. Reset the thoughts here because it's so easy to think about that game and think about the series, and then you get back to oh wait, what about that? What about this? How about Clayton Kershaw going out on top the way he needed to? If we're looking for odds from our friends over at FanDuel, by the way, how'd you guys like to go 3 in a row? Dodgers plus 350 favorites already to win the World Series in 2026. Which could be the last World Series in a while. We don't need to talk about that. Shout out FanDuel for helping present all Dodgers here on the YouTube machine. But like I said, I got some voicemails. I want to hear from folks. I want to get some thoughts from folks on the voicemail hotline. And I did all the things I was supposed to do, but actually move them into the folder where we can listen to them. So let's go ahead and listen to them now. The first guy who called, of course, was our friend Richie Flores. And Richie has some thoughts about this World Series win.
A lot of you probably aren't old enough to remember the 1976 World Series against the Cincinnati Reds and the Boston Red Sox. It was a seesaw battle of heroics, lots of guts, mental toughness, and the series went down to the last pitch of the last day of the season. And when it was all over, the Cincinnati Reds in Boston delivered a crushing blow and finally walked away with the World Series trophy. Fast forward to today, this entire series was an epic battle of twists and turns and what baseball is all about, and that's why it's a beautiful game. I never thought in my wildest dreams I would see a back-to-back, but we did it. The guts of Yamamoto, the clutch home runs, the awesome defense, and just epic performances by the last people in the world. And finally, on a day like this, I'd be remiss to remind me of my father who gave me the pug, and to my mother-in-law who'd be losing her shit right now, but I'm sure she's doing it up in heaven. So hug your relatives and remember the ones that are no longer around, and enjoy this moment and enjoy the fact that this is the golden era of Dodger baseball. I'm not an emotional guy, but God, I'm emotional today. God bless everybody, and God bless our Dodgers.
And we're back. So a lot of things to chew on there. Digest from our friend Richie Flores. We talked a lot entering this series about the hatred for George Springer and why there's hatred for George Springer because, one, the Houston Astros cheated. This much we know. But it's not just the fact that they cheated and cost the team a World Series in 2017 or cost some of the dudes that World Series in 2017, or at least a fair fight at that World Series in 2017. But you think of the fans, you think about the relatives you still had, the people you loved, Me and my grandpa, we watched Dodger games. We went to Dodger games, me, him, my brother. Sometimes we'd take some friends. Grandpa was still around for 2017, even 18. But he was around for 2017. He wasn't around for the other ones. He could have won. We could have celebrated a World Series in 2017. So that's why it's important now to soak these things up. Yeah, it's about ruining baseball. It's about us being greedy and the Dodgers going back to back. And then let's go back to back to back. And let's not make it a repeat, a three-peat, or even a four-peat. Let's talk about a minimum 8-peat here. But do it for the people around you, for your loved ones, for the people that got you into the game. If they're not around, at least, raise a glass to them for knowing that the Dodgers are champions once again. Appreciate Richie giving his thoughts, and I promise once I come out of the next voicemail, I won't have myself muted, but let's go ahead and listen to what Isabel had to say.
Hi, Clayton. This is Isabel from Anaheim. I'm just so excited about last night's game. What a series. What a game, the last two games. Anyway, F everybody who thinks that the Dodgers are ruining baseball. And go Dodgers. And we're champion again. I'm just so excited. So anyway, have a good off season, Clint. Okay? Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thank you to Isabel for the love. And don't worry, we'll be here entire to the offseason. Me, Jeff, Kevin. Got a lot of things to talk about. Hey, we got free agency to talk about here on this show a little bit because there are 7 Dodgers who are now already free agents. Yes, they'll be at the parade on Monday, but offseason is my time to shine. We got another super chat from Seth Klein, $2 from our friend Seth saying for an 8-peat. Let's go for an 8-peat there. Dan Weitzman, $9.99. So proud to be a Dodger fan today. So proud to be a Dodger fan today. I don't know if they meant to repeat it, but it makes it mean more. Dan also asking, where was Klein? Listen, Seth Klein is in the chat. Will Klein was solid for sure in that game 3. Might have gotten by on some smoke and mirrors and grit and luck. But if your season was resting on the right arm of Will Klein, I would have had some problems with it. Smart. Also, I want to give more credit to Dave Roberts for avoiding Anthony Bonda and Blake Trinan like the plagues they were in this series. Want to make sure I or even reiterate that fact, because I think I said it a number of times yesterday. But you had to win. I had said at some point, I think in our Discord, which, by the way, if you guys want to join us in the chat all through the offseason, go check out the Discord. You have to sign up through either patreon.com or click the join button here on YouTube. With that, if you can support us on the $5 tier, you get access to our Discord server. We're talking about the postseason, the offseason, all off-season long. We're talking about free agencies, how to make this team get better and set them up for the three-peat. Scan that QR code. Go to patreon.com/realfrg. It also directly supports us here. It doesn't go to somebody else. It doesn't go to some other, shadow owner of the YouTube channel. This is my channel. This is our channel. You guys are directly supporting us if you do that. If not, the best way is to like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. Goes a long way. $2 also goes a long way. From Frank on here, but it says for Mr. and Mrs. Kuma, the yelling paid off. I don't know about all y'all. That game 6 ending messed me up. And then yesterday I was like, okay, you're on vocal rest. You're going to be calm. You're going to be collected. And then all that shit happened. Then Miggy Rowe happened. The double play happens to end the game. Well, funny enough, the double play, I didn't even scream for the double play. It was more of like, you guys saw Dave after Miggy Rowe hit that homer. I was just like, that didn't just happen. There's no way. There's absolutely no way that just happened. It happened. It absolutely happened. Let's see what else we got. We got another voicemail. Let's listen to our buddy. He's already given us a couple super chats. We're going to listen to Seth Klein, not related to Will.
Hey, Dodger fam. Seth Klein here. Long-time caller, first-time listener. Wow, what a series. That was probably the best baseball I've ever seen in my life. Back-to-back World Series champions. That's fun to say. Clayton Kershaw, 3 times World Series champion. That's fun to say. Hey, I'm still just in awe. Dodgers Dynasty. That's fun to say. I want to give props to the Blue Jays. They played a hell of a series. They fought tooth and nail, and if it had gone the other way, I would have been happy for it. As fans, we get to celebrate. Andrew, time to get back to work. We got holes to fill if we want a three-peat. Well, I'm elated, and I'm going to take my answers off the air. Thank you. Bye.
Appreciate Seth calling in. Yeah, there is time for celebrating right now, and then it's get your ass back to work. We know this team in 2026 is going to be so damn good. We know that. They have talent. They have the tools. They have the talent. The starting rotation, you still got to see what Roki Sasaki is going to end up being as a starter. If not, you know what he looks like as a potential lights-out closer or reliever. At some point next year, there should be a Brusdar Graterol. There should be an Evan Phillips. There, maybe the ghost of Tanner Scott figures himself out. Michael Grove will be back. I know, boo. Hopefully Bobby Miller will be moved, which, by the way, Bobby Miller being the first name on that Nike, credit crawl, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious troll job from Nike. Gavin Stone will be back. We know one guy who will not be back. That is Clayton Kershaw, and I shouted him out last night. I want to make sure I give more love, but it's Drip Show on the internet, on the Instagram. I should have had a better camera set up, but Drip Show sent me some things here, which, huge shout out to Drip Show. I know this is very weird. I'm not really a review channel, but like and subscribe either way. But this thing is an absolute banger of a canvas. As you can tell, it is not a cheapy canvas. Beyond that, there's also this awesome Vin Scully here, and this one might be going over my bed in my bedroom, which is weird. I understand that. I also have a Shohei Ohtani one down there, but I might injure my shoulder trying to pick it up. I'll give some more love and try to link some stuff on the Instagram and in the description. But shout out to Drip Show for sending those along. But the importance of Clayton Kershaw winning this, or them winning this for Clayton Kershaw, selfishly, as I've said, is that it gives us more time with Clayton. It gives us more time. It gives us an opportunity to see him at the parade on Monday. What is this guy going to do at the parade on Monday? It gives us an opportunity to see him at Dodger Stadium next year when they're handing out the World Series rings. It gives Alana and I an opportunity to reach out, and gives her an opportunity to reach out and come on the show. Let's talk about this series, this year, your career. I will say the Dodgers winning makes content a lot better because it's much easier to get players, get coaches, get the manager of the team on your show when the team has won. That much I have learned after doing it. It also really, really helps a lot when you have Alana Rizzo as a co-host. But, yeah, thank God for Kersh winning this dang thing. We got more voicemails. Let's lock them and load them. I think, let's listen to Noah. Noah called in this morning. Let's have some thoughts from Noah.
Well, what up, guys? It's Noah, as you know. And, guys, we're champs again. Let's go. This postseason was fun. Every player had their moment. we're going to be seeing a lot of highlights for the rest of our lives of plays that were significant or were amazing, such as Teoscar's 3-run homer versus the Phillies, Roki coming in and practically being the NLDS MVP, Yamamoto being Yamamoto, the starters being aces, and on top of that is the walk-off home run by Freddie, the homers by Smith, Muncy, and Miggy in Game 7 of the World Series. This postseason had everything and everybody had their moment. And you gotta give props to Mookie for coming through in Game 6 of the World Series when we needed him the most. Everybody played their part. This was a team postseason all around. And guys, it's pretty depressing to think about it, and it makes me happy. Buddy Kennedy got a ring before Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, and Mike Shoop. So that puts a smile on my face, if you know what I mean. Anyways, guys, it was a great time. We have a lot of things to do in the off season. We still got to fix our offense because they weren't even that dominant like they should have. So, have a good rest of your off season, guys, and let's go three-peat.
Three-peat. That's we're entering the era of the three-peat for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and yeah, I just had somebody left a voicemail that I'm going to play shortly, and they also texted saying, like, they left a number of voicemails because I kept forgetting people to put in there, kept forgetting to give people their flowers. Everybody, like Dave Roberts said, I think after the NL, no, after, maybe it was after Game 6 or maybe it was after the NL CS clincher, but everybody in that locker room, as he maintains every year, everybody in that locker room, everybody on that 40-man roster, starting from spring training, even guys not in the organization at that time, everybody plays a role. Whether it's somebody who comes up, a Buddy Kennedy who comes in and fills in for a little while Muncy's out with some injuries, somebody who just buys the team time to field a okay enough 26 men, day in, day out over the course of 162 games, over 180 some odd days. Like everybody with this organization, you realistically, like, everybody gets a ring and they kind of earn it. Yeah, some people earn that ring a lot more. Mookie Betts, who gets the final out, earns that ring a whole lot more. And I just love this from Mookie. Baseball quotes with the man. Look at what it means to Mookie to make this play. The insanity, the absurdity as well. Talking about the full storybook of the season. Starting with this man moving from right field. We expect him to be the second baseman. And no, he's going to play shortstop. And Kevin Skinner on this show said about 11 months ago, it's like, I don't know, I think I move Mookie to shortstop. And I was like, you're a moron. You're the dumbest person alive. And then he goes out there's probably capped off a Gold Glove season. If I was a writer, as I've said, I would vote for Mookie Betts because it's a better story to write than Nick Allen or Mason Wynn. Those aren't fun stories to write. Those are, all right, we can get our 120 words in, and then the rest is just filler. That is a story, writing about Mookie Betts being a 6-time Gold Glove winner in right field, moving to shortstop and winning it, and then also now being a 4-time World Series champion. But the joy that he had and the nerves he talked about making those final plays. Can't give enough credit to literally every single person on that roster, in that locker room, people that played for this team along the way. It's funny. It's absolutely hella funny to think about Buddy Kennedy getting a ring. So many of those other, I can't think of some of the other names. I think Buddy Kennedy would have got a ring either way because he also spent time with Toronto. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Let's get some more voicemails in here. I don't know who this one is. Now we're just going to figure it out together.
Hey. This is Kuma. In the chat, I'm known as Kuma.
Kuma.
I'm just shouting off everybody. Thanks for all the support. The emotional support in the Discord, and the doomers. Guys, you gotta stop dooming, y'all. You gotta stop dooming. Never doom. Never doom. Let's fucking do it. We're world champs back to back.
Hey, you know what? Jeff's not going to be happy about the F, but I don't care. I'll accept it right now. Wait, where would we be without the doomers, man? We're all doomers internally. We know that. I don't think anybody thought the Dodgers. It's so hard to have assumed the Dodgers were going to win that baseball game. By the way, you mentioned that the Discord, the Patreon. Shout out to Sean. Sean just joined us. I'll make sure I get you set up on the Discord shortly. But shout out Sean Duffy becoming a member on the All Dodgers Discord. We also got a text from somebody from Nick. Nick up north, from up north. Appreciate Nick, the 226, hanging out with us. I don't know how up north if you're in Canada. Thoughts to the country of Canada, but Dodgers win. We got another voicemail. Let's hear it.
Hey, Clint. This is Matthew. My YouTube handle is Matthew1970-something. And I just wanted to say that although I lost faith a little bit as the series went on, and I did feel like Toronto was playing better than us, they weren't better than us at winning a series. Like, they couldn't get the job done. I knew when we went back to Toronto, they weren't going to be able to seal a deal. Like, I had this correspondence going with this lady that I started talking to. She lost faith like me, but she didn't think they were going to come back. But Yamamoto, like, he was the man. And, you know, that ball that got, like, wedged in, like, that was just an omen on a Halloween. You know what I mean? Like, Dodgers are inevitable, bro. Anyway, I love your show, man. It is awesome. And
Appreciate you.
I hope you keep going on and on and on, because you're dope. Your show's good, man. All right. Take care.
Appreciate you calling in, Matthew. Appreciate the love. We'll be here. We'll be here, baby. Everybody, don't you guys worry. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We'll be live in the off season. Don't know how frequent we'll be live. It's definitely going to be at the bare minimum a couple times a week. Still need to talk to the fellas and kind of figure it out, but we have a lot of content coming up for everybody. How could you not keep talking about this team? How could you not keep talking about the potential for a three-peat? But that was a really good point about the Jays. You know, they were playing a better brand of baseball until they weren't. That's kind of the story of their season, of their World Series in particular. They were playing better baseball until they weren't. I had said after Game 3, nobody wanted to lose that game, but nobody was really willing to win it. The Dodgers eventually, thank you, Freddie, who also had a moment in the series where he didn't have very many moments. You don't win that game. You don't win Game 3, 18 innings. Longest game of my life. You don't win that without Freddie Freeman. Everybody had a moment, and the Dodgers, ultimately, the experience, the panache, maybe the star-studded roster, known with superstars like Miguel Rojas, who, by the way, should be the Gold Glove winner as the utility position. He deserves it. Yeah, the Dodgers were able to outplay the Jays when it mattered most. The little things. Like, imagine how we would feel if it was the shoe on the other foot, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa not getting a secondary lead and being out by maybe 2 inches on that play from Miguel Rojas to Will Smith in the 9th inning. That wins the World Series for Toronto. Dodgers didn't do dumb stuff like that. Yeah, they did. They had their dumb spots. They absolutely did. But the Blue Jays, you saw some of the things like Alana and I had talked about. At some point, the experience will shine through, or the inexperience will shine through. And talking about the base running, the fact that they had 2 guys picked off because they thought the batter walked, ridiculous. How do you allow that to happen and be in the World Series? Sometimes, shit gets in your head, and that happens. That That happens, and it doesn't happen as often with the Dodgers. You don't see as many of the Aaron Judge moments, or as now three-time World Series champion Chris Taylor says, you don't see the Dodgers shitting down their own leg. Stephanie thinks, by the way, we need to re-sign Kike Hernandez and bring back Miggy Rowe. Yeah, I'm okay with it. They don't have anybody else really ready to go, obviously. Now, looking ahead a little bit to next season, you don't know what the plan is with Max Muncy. Is he going to be the everyday third baseman, or is he going to be somebody who kind of shifts to more of a utility role, playing some second, playing some third, coming off the bench? I think he's still got one more season under his belt as the everyday 3B, or at least maybe part of a platoon. But I really honestly don't know if they can bring back or are willing to bring back both Kike and Miggy Rowe. Like, our hearts 100% say yeah, because Kike always has a moment or several moments across the course of a postseason. And Miguel Rojas is not only a very good baseball player, but a heart and soul leader in that clubhouse. Something Ross Stripling talked about last night. What he said, he has heard from people, the fact that Miggy Rowe can bring the Latin players and the white boys together and get like a full team dynamic. That doesn't just happen. That does not just happen. And you don't make it happen if you don't have him in there moving ahead, because it's a completely different team. Even if it's a lot of the same people, it's a completely different roster and feel, more so the feel, different vibes when you're talking about moving ahead to 2026. We got another voicemail, a lot more voicemails. I'm going to keep firing them off. I think we already heard from Seth. I think I didn't push this one. Now I'm getting myself confused, so let's try this voicemail.
Hi, my name is Mateo Lombard. I'm a Dodger for life. My uncle was the first base coach for the Dodgers for many years. His name is George Lombard.
Oh, right
and
on.
His sons, my cousins, George Lombard Jr. and Jacob Lombard Jr. are the next big things in baseball. George Lombard Jr. was drafted by the Yankees. And I'm just happy, baseball's been in my blood and my family for so long. And it's great to see my hometown to win. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate that. Hey, George Lombard, also World Series champion with your Los Angeles Dodgers. Uncle, his nephew calls in. That's pretty cool. Appreciate the love, the support of this brand of Dodger baseball. Even George not in the organization anymore. To still have your love and your affiliation for the Dodgers, that is really, really cool. Appreciate you calling in. Let's hear some thoughts here from our number one doomer, Grizzly Oso in the chat.
This is Grizzly Oso, Doomer Bear. And I just wanted to say that that was the greatest game that I've ever watched of baseball, of Dodgers baseball, of anything related to that. I also would like to say that I was the only one that said Dodgers in 7. I meant that in order to get the Dodgers to beat them before, but I stuck with it, and this is what we got. So that's all I got on my mind. But go Dodgers, back-to-back World Series champs.
I'm going to hit that applause for a few callers because I've missed hitting the applause. Really appreciate everybody calling in. I figured this would be a good day for a voicemail show. Yeah, no, he's not lying. Grizzly Oso's not lying. Our top chief doomer in the All Dodgers Discord, for sure, did maintain through that series, Dodgers in 7. I had it in 5. I was wrong. I was not familiar with Toronto's game. And again, hand up accountability on that. I know now how Toronto plays. Shout out, caps off to Toronto Blue Jays. Played a hell of a series until you didn't. Doomer Bear is my line. I see you, OCJ. That's what's up. Appreciate that. Hey, Hammy had some thoughts as well. Let's listen to what Hammy has to say.
Hey, Hammy 0023 from Long Beach. Man, I guess now that baseball is ruined, I'll call in. But let's talk about Dave Roberts. Are we finally going to give this guy his flowers? He's done some questionable decisions in the past, but were they all just leading to this moment? He'd had some tough decisions to make, and he made them. I mean, the guy even changed lineups. Let's talk about Yoshi. Wow, this guy had to pitch 3 days in a freaking row. I'm talking about Game 6, Game 7, and thanks to time zones, Game 7.5. This guy is a beast. I would not be surprised if a lot of kids in the future have to explain why their name is Yoshinobu Sanchez. And finally, thoughts going into the next year, we got to switch up that lineup. Shohei in the 1 spot, I think is wasted. I think we all saw that switching up that 9 spot with Miggy Rowe, but making that lineup change, maybe dropping him down, maybe dropping him to 3 in the 3 spot will give him more runners. I think we wasted a lot of runs. Blue Jays put up a really good lineup. It seems like they switched it up every other batter with a good hitter, okay hitter. We should do the same, and let's go for that 3-peat.
Appreciate Hammy calling in there. A lot to digest there. Yeah, we've given Dave some flowers, more flowers, not enough flowers. He deserves so many flowers for being a good man, for being a humble dude, for whenever he gets faced with the idea, with the question that of, have you learned, how much have you grown and on the job over these now 10 years and 10 postseasons. He's like, yeah, I've learned so much, taking in each and every mistake, growing from it, getting better. That's what Doc has done. The way so many of the guys after, talking on Fox, MLB Network, Dave Vassay, going around doing their media rounds, they mentioned 2 names that you mentioned, Clayton, Kershaw. Of course, everybody just so stoked, so thrilled for Kersh to go out a champ. Same for Kersh being thrilled to go out a champ. But even Kersh, amongst all of them, mentioning Dave Roberts and the importance of what he does. He's not just, maybe for a while in the olden times, he was, I wouldn't say he was definitely a whipping boy for the media and for the front office, but I think that relationship has changed. I think it's a lot more of a back and forth than it was in the past. I think the front office probably had some scripted decisions in postseasons past, and Dave has kind of earned his way to carte blanche, do what he wants in a game. What his gut is telling him to do, he does. Again, he decided to put Andy Pages out there in center field because of the arm. It ends up being his glove that takes down, that reaches up and over Kike Hernandez to make that play. Having the gut and the feeling to be like, Miguel Rojas is the man to be in this lineup. That's Dave. That's Dave type stuff. That's him reading the room, reading his guys, knowing when to go out there, have a conversation with them like we saw last year in the postseason. You saw it a few times this year. Go on the mound, look them in the eyes, get that feeling, get a pulse of how they're feeling, where the heart rate is at. Saw that with Blake Trinan last year, definitely not this year, but he was also smart enough to eventually pull the ripcord and stop pretending that Blake was going to figure it out. And, there's in every game, there are going to be some decisions with the benefit of hindsight that maybe you look at. Again, yesterday, Shohei Ohtani pitching that 3rd inning, starting that 3rd inning. Obviously not the right call. You're not going to know that in the moment, and you're not going to know until that happens. Maybe Roki Sasaki in Game 6 going out for the 2nd inning. Not the greatest idea. He didn't have it in the first. The 2nd inning also didn't have it. You find a way to survive that game. It took also a lot of guys buying in, risking their own health. Obviously, Tyler Glasnow knew he was somebody who was going to take down big innings in this Game 7 if they were to make it. For him to go out there, and thankfully it turns out to be only 3 pitches, but for him to be like, no, I'll go in for the rest of this team. Dave is the guy at the top that says everybody buy in, love each other, be there for each other, play as a team. And then he has his field generals below him that double down on that kind of mindset and mentality. Somebody like Miguel Rojas, of course. Dave mentioned Mickey Rowe and Kike Hernandez being like the vocal leaders in that clubhouse when it comes to like when there's a moment to rah-rah, or when there's a moment where you need to just lead by example or motivate by example. Of course, everybody saw Kike Hernandez before the game yesterday with the Bleav, what is that show? The Ted Lasso. The Bleav on his hat, and losing is not an option, which, my God, did Yoshinobu Yamamoto live by that by that motto in this postseason and in this World Series. Losing was not an option. for this team, and everybody's involved, but Dave's at the top of it. That's 100%. Noah asking, do we all believe that Dave manages postseason or last postseason better, taking everything in consideration? 100%, 1,000,000,000%. He said the same. He said as much when we talked to him at spring training last year as well, that every little bit of information that he was able to gain, skill, decision-making, things that went right, and more so the things that went wrong, he learned. He learned along the way over the course of these now 10 seasons and applied that last year, applied that here. And the other thing is, too, more of these guys being unwilling or being willing to risk themselves for each other to win this type of baseball game. And it's funny that Indigenous 69 says Clayton Kershaw over Max Scherzer, and Dodgers need to play a game in Africa. I'm sure Alana would appreciate that. She's out there in Africa right now. But talking about guys being there for each other and risking their health, let's talk about Max Scherzer not doing that for the team in 2021, which ultimately kind of sidetracked Walker Buehler's career because he had to go when he wasn't ready and got beat up and then ended up going for Tommy John or whatever. On that note, I hope they baby Yoshinobu Yamamoto early next year. You don't need Yama for opening day. I just want to throw that out there. I also hope Dodgers players are very... they think before they decide to sign up for the WBC or however they're going to end up working that out. Just want to throw that out there. BC asking about Alana in Mass. Yeah, that's where she lives, but she's on vacation right now. Her husband decided to book a vacation for her birthday that just so happened to accidentally land, on Game 7 of the World Series where they were taking off. So just bad luck. Appreciate Ross Stripling hanging out with me and filling in. Anyways, I had a lot of thoughts there. We got a couple more voicemails, then we will sign off. And don't worry, more content is coming up. You'll probably see me, Jeff, Kevin live tomorrow night. At some point, we'll figure it all out. But here is who we got. This is Stan calling in.
Clint, it's your boy Stan, your number one fan. My God, what an epic all-time Game 7. The best World Series of all time. Just so many crazy subplots and storylines. But I mean, let's just give all the flowers to Will Smith. He's a Hall of Famer in my book. Obviously, Miggy Rowe coming through with defensive gem after defensive gem and the game-tying home run seen across the world. Andy Paez getting taken out and then coming in for the catch of his life. And what else is there to say? I mean, for all the criticism and shit talking I've ever done about Doc, I mean, I'm more than happy to eat all of this fried crow, and he's up there on the Mount Rushmore of greatest managers of all time. And Mookie Betts, 4-time champion. Freddie Freeman, 3-time champion. Shohei Ohtani, 2-time champion. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto, my GOAT, our hero. Let's go, Dodgers. This one is special. Let's get that 3-peat, baby. Woo!
Great call. Great call from Stan there. He again, I said he was a guy who left a number of messages. He was like, I kept forgetting people. He forgot Max Muncy as well. Hey, also a 3-time champ. Clayton Kershaw goes out, a 3-time World Series champion. It's a fun team. And you guys saw Clayton's postgame. We have one more voicemail, and then we're going to wrap it up from here. I appreciate everybody hanging out on the show today. Really, really cool to have such a great chat, great group of people here joining us on the Sunday. But you guys heard Clayton talking about how much he loved this team. Yeah, there's going to be a time where you might say, I'm not going to say dumb stuff, but you might say dumb stuff when you just won and you've had maybe a couple drinks and you're like, I love you guys, man. But all through Clayton's short-lived retirement tour, he kept being asked, what's the one thing you're going to miss? What's the one thing you're going to miss? Like, it was always the people, the players, the relationships, and he always doubled down about the dudes in that clubhouse. The love, the appreciation he had for the guys in this clubhouse in particular. This being, I think he said, a special team, of a special group of dudes. He meant it. This was a special team, as Stan was saying. This is just special group, great group of people, very deserving World Series champions, even if they didn't always play like it in this series. And then you go out there and you get better. You're going to get better by proxy of just being healthier. Pitching is going to get better. That outfield needs some help. We'll talk about that more in the offseason. Kenny Chung had asked, does the organization keep DePaula and Hope? Yeah, because at some point in the future, the Dodgers outfield is set up. And I don't want to look too much of the future on today's show. This is more about the celebration, but it's a good question. At some point down the road, the outfield is going to be exceptional. You're going to have a lot of potentially really, really good talent to choose from. If Josue DePaula keeps developing, Zaire Hope keeps developing the way we hope and anticipate. If Kendall George can make some other steps and leaps forward, there's that one guy they traded Gavin Lux to get from the Reds. His name escapes me right now. Had a really, really good season with the team. Outfielder, somebody they looked at before they couldn't draft him. The Reds ended up getting him. The outfield is in a really, really good spot in the future, but maybe not 2026. So is it going to be a Kyle Tucker? Do you sign a Kyle Tucker, move Teoscar? Don't forget, Teo is under contract for 2 more seasons. Andy Pages is under team control for 5 more, I think it is. Those guys will be around. They're going to be options. Will a real Andy Pages please stand up? Will year 3 be even better? Year 2 was good. It had its downs for sure. It had a really, really good up. The infield is getting older. That's something to very much consider. What are they going to do with Haesung Kim? Is he going to be the starting second baseman for this team? They're a question. There are things they need to digest. And I had mentioned on Dodgers territory that I had various versions of, talking points, including, sort of some thoughts about what do you say if this team loses? And how do you get better and all that kind of stuff. Thankfully, we didn't need to necessarily talk about those, but one of the points that I had kind of eventually got to in there was finding a way to get this outfield better. This was a team that was bold enough to cut ties with Austin Barnes this season, bold enough to cut ties with Chris Taylor this season. Even after winning back-to-back titles, this is still the era where they go all the way in. They are not done. $400 million is the tip of the iceberg for this organization. And they have some money coming off the books, of course, with being out from under CT's contract, out from under Clayton Kershaw's contract, out from under the $17 million owed to World Series champion. What's his name? You know the guy. I can't think of his name right now. Mike Conforto. Kirby Yates gone. That kind of stuff. Dodgers are still primed to continue doing better. But I'll put this one back up again with DePaula and Hope. They're either eventually going to help this club on the field or they're going to help this club at the trade deadline or potentially this offseason. I don't know who they go after. Is it a Jarren Duran? Does he make the most sense for this team? They can do a lot of things. They can absolutely do a lot of things. And, the Red Sox are going to be a team that wants to get a little bit better because they just saw a team from their division go to the World Series and come within 1 out or 1 run scored of being winners. Here's our final voicemail of the day. Voicemail of the day is from Lillian. First time caller.
My name is Lillian. I'm down here in Sacramento, California, and I just want to let you know that I cried tears galore with that win last night. Those 7 games were the most amazing World Series ever, and I've been a Dodgers fan since the early 60s. Go Blue! 3-peat.
Let's go. Appreciate the call from Sacramento calling in. That's pretty dang cool. Everybody calling in, hanging out with us here on this Sunday. Elizabeth, she's going to help sign us off here. Back-to-back World Series champion, Los Angeles Dodgers. That is fun. Again, as Steven Nelson said, from backs against the wall to back-to-back. What an impressive series. And we all got to live it, survive it. Hell yeah. Final thing I'll mention, because I said I would talk about it ever so slightly. There were 7 Dodgers that became free agents today. Michael Conforto, Andrew Heaney, Enrique Hernandez, Clayton Kershaw, Michael Kopech, Miguel Rojas, and Kirby Yates. Don't worry. Some of those guys, well, maybe not some. Who's it going to be? Kike, Miggy Rowe, probably the number, like the top 2 guys that could return. Michael Kopech, I like what our buddy Noah said in the Discord, could find a way to get Kopech back on like a make good deal, something like that. But I'll end with this, guys. Baseball equals ruined. Let's do it again. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this Sunday edition of the show. If you haven't done it already, please like it. It helps me out. It helps us all out here on the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. Trying to get to 25,000 subscribers. By doing that, we got to get to 21,000 first. Thank you for helping us get to 20,000 over the course of this season. Thank you to Jeff for joining the channel this season, and we're going to keep on going, keep on growing, keep on partying all off-season long, championship off-season long. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out with me. The super chats on today's show, all of the voicemail callers, you guys are awesome. Voicemail hotline will be alive and active in the off-season as well. If we have some free agency thoughts, throw them to the sky. I don't know. It's a weird thing to say. Follow Jeff at Snydog on the Twitter. Follow Kevin at Skinner7Kevin on the Twitter. I'll give you, if I knew his Venmo, I'd give it to you so he could get a better background. At some point, we will get him out of the kitchen, I promise. I'll say again, if you're looking for a different way to support the show and join us in conversation, scan that QR code, join us, support the show, and join us on Discord. All the information is on the links below, all that kind of stuff. Check it out. I don't need to say it again. Hopefully we earned a thumbs up on the way out. Shout out to FanDuel for presenting the show. Shout out to Bleav Network for having us on the network. And that's about it. Bye.